Peace. Wanted to take this moment to really talk about and really show the significance of the historic Million Man March and really show us the difference between the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and many of these other leaders politically, black, white, whatever their color is. You know, last night there was the town hall. It was in place of the debate where Joe Biden was supposed to have a debate with Donald Trump, but they didn't have it. And Joe Biden did his own like town hall meeting the night before, whenever it was. But he was asked about the 1994 crime bill, right? And as I thought about this, I said, man, look at the difference to show how the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is different when it comes to black leaders and even these white leaders as it relates to our people. While members of the Congressional Black Congress and while members of other black politicians and members of the Democratic Party and members of the Republican Party were working to create a crime bill that laid the groundwork for the mass incarceration that we are experiencing right now of black and brown people, that laid the groundwork from the school to prison pipeline, that helped to destroy black communities. While they were doing this in 1994, advocating for these harsh sentences that ill affect poor people, guess what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was doing? On January 1994 in New York at the Armory, it's where the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had one of his tours traveling around the country talking about stopping the killing. So while they were trying to incarcerate and use punitive damages against the black community in response to drugs that they placed in our community, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was traveling the country telling black men to love themselves, telling black men to take care of their families and to stop the killing. And then in 1994 is where it came out of his mouth, this divinely inspired to call for 1 million black men. So on one side, you have politicians and black politicians and white politicians, part of this political machine, working to create legislation that ill affected the black community even today in 2020. And on the other end, on the other side, you have a single voice, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, sacrificing his health, sacrificing his family, putting his life online, being criticized by both black and white alike, going around this country to reform black men and black women and black children in response to the conditions that were placed upon us by this racist society. So if you're seeing on your social media all this talk about the historic Million Man March, pause for a second, watch a clip, right? Because this shows you the context of which that beautiful event, that miracle in front of us took place. And here's some simple things that you can do. One, if you have the opportunity, go and watch the full lecture so you can see what happened on that great day. If not, just watch a few minutes of it. Catch some of the Instagram clips that people are putting on. But that's what you can do. Two, take a moment and share one of the clips with at least one young person. At least one young person. You don't have to look outside of your house. Start within your family, your own son, your own daughter, your nephews, your nieces, your grandchildren, whoever it may be. The next thing, share it with some other adult who may not know. And YouTube and this social media makes it easy to do. Then in addition to that, brothers and sisters, share it on your own social media pages. Tell this story, this historic event. And the last thing that I would suggest, when we talk about the Million Man March from here on out, refer to it as the historic Million Man March. You hear me? The historic, say it after me, the historic Million Man March. And we can't let people write that out of history because they have, and they're trying. They're trying. In this march, after the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan was inspired to say 1 million, every march going to D.C. now is 1 million. Is 1 million moms this, 1 million dad, 1 million whatever. But it all started from this black man who has a solid track record, as he says, of putting his life on the line for the black community. Peace.
Look at you! don't know what the number is. It's too much for me to count. But I think they said it's 1.5 million or 2.
Like 2 or 3 or 3.
I don't know how many. But you know, I called for 1 million. When I saw the word go out my mouth, I looked at it. I said, oh my God. It just came out of my mouth. I didn't know. And after it came out, I said, well, I got to go with it. And I'm so glad I did. People told me, you better change that figure to one more realistic. And I should have changed it to the 3 million man march. Now, we almost finished.